I'm super excited to have a very special guest in Montana Fouts, three-time All-American pitcher at Alabama, played for Team USA. You have done it all, and now you're adding Athletes Unlimited to your bio. How excited were you for this announcement?
I'm just so excited just because I know so many great athletes that are playing in the league, and I know that's going to be great competition. And not only that, but I'll get to learn so much because every time that I feel like I'm with these girls, that's what's happening. So I'm just really excited to be with them for a few weeks.
And I can't believe that games are already next month. You mentioned the different athletes. I think what's so cool about this league is you have some of the best players who played 10 years ago up until ones who are graduating this season. When you kind of think about everybody, is there a certain player or two that you're really excited to play alongside?
Oh gosh, I mean, it would probably be so hard to just pick one, but I think a perfect example is I never got to play with Haley McClenny at Alabama, but then I've been fortunate enough to play with her for Team USA, and now she's going to be on the AUX roster. So it's kind of crazy, like you said. There's players from all different types of times, and you're getting to play with them, which is awesome.
What's so special about this league too is kind of the unique way that it's structured in terms of you're constantly changing teams, you're being able to play alongside new people every single week. Is there a certain part of how this league operates that you're most looking forward to in a non-traditional softball space?
One thing that I found that was really interesting that I heard a few of the girls say was the most important thing is just trying to win the inning, which I think is really cool just because I would tell myself that anyway, like in a normal game. So I think I'm probably going to go into it with just the same usual mindset of attacking each pitch and each inning. And I think that that'll really help me develop that part of my game too.
I love the mindset because it's largely what you did. I think when I go back to the college days, which feels like yesterday, by the way, you have become such a prolific face throughout college softball, largely due to what you did during your time at Alabama. I look at the 2023 season and I was able to share the field with you, but the way you just put your team on your back, pushed through so much that you were battling physically to bring your team back to the Women's College World Series. And then you have this year of rest where you had to get healthy again. You're also traveling the country, inspiring the next generation of players. Can you kind of catch me up on what life has looked like for you these past 12 months?
The past year has really flown by, like you said. So, I mean, lots of traveling, lots of trying to get healthy, and then honestly, the whole time still pitching, just trying to navigate, competing wise. I mean, just trying to stay in that shape. I mean, you know how it is, like when you're in college and it's just easy to train against other people. And at least where I come from, there's not a whole lot of high level softball players running around, which is, I've been fortunate enough to have many girls catch me, which has been great. And I'm blessed for that. But I think that being able to be with people again that play softball and love softball, I think is going to be really fun. So I'm excited about that.
I love where you grew up in because like you said, it's a little bit harder. It kind of reminds me of growing up in the Midwest to sometimes have that caliber around you and have the space and the facilities. But how much more do you think that shaped who you are as a player because you had to be so creative and choose a gritty, hard road to get to the top?
Without a doubt, I wouldn't change it any kind of way because I mean, like you said, like the past 12 months, I was actually at a facility where I do lessons where I grew up, which is probably one of my favorite things that I've done the past year, just because these girls see, they're like, "You're famous." I was like, "No, I'm really not." I was like, I remember being in the same exact situation that you're in right now, and they're just working hard. And I was pitching at the same facility that I'm doing that in, and somebody came up, they were like, "So what's it like? Like you come back?" And I was like, "I don't know. I mean, it just feels normal just to come back. I'm pitching to a nine pocket because everybody else is busy and I'm listening to the same old music and it feels like the same old day," which is honestly kind of one of the best feelings. And now I get to go play with the best in the world. And at one point I was an 8-year old doing the same thing. So it just feels really full circle and I'm grateful that I get to experience it.
That kind of brings up one of the questions that I wanted to ask you because you mentioned you're back in the same facility. You're also working with these younger girls who look up to you at so many times. What exactly is the message that you want to show them? And then on the flip side, what do you feel is the biggest lesson that they have taught you too?
Oh gosh, all tough questions. I mean, honestly, I'm really excited because some of them are on traveling to Wichita to watch from Kentucky, which is like a 13-hour drive. And so I'm really grateful that I have the committed ones. But I honestly just want to show them that they can do anything that they want to do. I mean, college level is one thing, but now to be able to say that you're a pro. I mean, I grew up saying at the same middle school that these girls are in, saying, I'm going to be a professional softball player. And people were like, what? Is that even a thing? Or you're crazy. And I was like, no, just watch. And now just being able to fulfill that dream is honestly, I can't even compare it. So just being able to show them that they can do anything that they want to do, and although people may make fun of them, no matter where you come from, you can do whatever you want to do.
You mentioned how people are coming all the way to Wichita to watch you play. And I think I Googled that. I think it's like 770 miles from Kentucky. Talk to me about ways that we can continue to grow the professional league because college softball is growing at a rapid pace. How can we catch up the professional side? What do you think are the steps that everyone needs to make?
Honestly, just people watching and paying it. I feel like once you watch girls and women's softball, that you're just going to fall in love. So I think it's the more people that can tune in, or the more people that can come and watch, because obviously it's great on TV, but you know as well as anybody else, it's better in person. So
Mhm.
just being able to come out, watch the games, and just being able to promote it in the best way, which I think the AUX and AU is doing a great job of doing.
Perfect. One thing I wanted to ask you is you live by a phrase saying, be the blessing. And I've always really loved this phrase. Can you kind of explain to me what came from it and what it really means to you?
Use softball to be a blessing, but what that means is just going out of my way, maybe little things every single day that can make a difference to somebody else. I think is just really gives me and shows me gratitude in so many different ways other than just what a yellow ball shows me.
You talked about the impact that the game has had on you in your life on and off the field. You mentioned that 8-year-old version of yourself. Would she have ever believed the journey that softball has taken you on?
Honestly, probably not, but at the same time, like, I'm really blessed because this is the exact road, I mean, outside of a lot of maybe injuries or obstacles that I dreamed of, because I always dreamed of playing in college, playing at the World Series, now playing professional, playing for USA. Like, that was something I always told myself that I was gonna do. And obviously, there was lots of points where I was like, "I don't know if this is gonna happen," but I think that it's always something that I visioned, and I couldn't be more thankful for it, because when I sit back and think about it, especially whenever you work with young girls, which if anybody that's ever has the chance to do lessons or camps or just communicate with somebody younger than you, I think it's so special because they just act like softball is just their whole world. And it just reminds you that, wow, this was me at one point where it's like, this is my biggest dream ever. And when you accomplish things like that, sometimes I think that you forget how special it really is. So I'm thankful for it.
You mentioned when you were talking about how you always had these dreams, at times you maybe felt like, will I actually reach it? How in those moments did you believe in yourself and have people believe in you to help you get there?
So honestly, I just feel like I'm really big into my faith, and I would have to rely on someone bigger than myself just because it felt like the dreams were so heavy at times. And although I have the best support system in the world, sometimes it would just kind of still be overwhelming at times. So I'm really big into praying, and I'm extremely grateful for that support staff that I was telling you about, and they would just continuously try to drag me out and remind me that this is my dream. Although this is my dream and softball is my dream, that they love me no matter what. So I think that that was really important in that role.
I love that. You've mentioned a lot of times, all the times you were working with younger girls, your camps have absolutely blew up. I can hardly keep track. It feels like you're on a worldwide tour right now across the country. I want to know, has there been a favorite place you've went to for a camp? And then kind of going back to the question earlier of what do you feel is the biggest lesson that these younger athletes are teaching you and working with them so much?
Honestly, I mean, a favorite place is just so hard because I mean, anywhere you go, like softball's growing so much, which is so awesome to see. I mean, anytime that I'm in Alabama, it's just crazy. So, I mean, the girls are just nuts, which I absolutely love. But we're getting to go to so many new places this year, and I'm really excited to see what those turn home for the camp. So I'm excited to expand it, but they've just showed up and showed out every time. But as far as what they teach me, I feel like, I mean, just being grateful for the journey. I feel like a lot of times that we can be caught up in the day to day and not necessarily looking like at the process. Like it's more like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And like you get so caught up and it's like, all right, let's take one thing at a time. And I think that we can not only apply that to softball, but applying that to life also. Just because after graduating, obviously softball still is my career and I'm excited to still pitch and stay pitching for a while. But I mean, it's more than just softball, right? Like I can't be the best softball player I can be if I don't have a life outside of softball. So I think that that's been really fun to experience for the first time. I mean, anybody that's played softball at a higher caliber, like we've talked about, has played softball since they were 5, and that's pretty much it. So I think it's been fun to develop the other side of my life that makes me a happier person, therefore a happier and better softball player.
Talk to me about Montana's life outside of softball. What are things that you've learned that you love to do?
I am in the process of building a farm, so I'm so excited about that.
It's amazing.
I think that it's just really I've obviously been into outdoors for a long time, but I've never been a part of a farm or been able to appreciate those things. So I'm like in love with animals, and we all know that I have my dogs at home. But this past weekend, I surprised my family. I texted my brother, and I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go get some goats. Do you want to go with me?" So we threw them in the back of the truck. It was just I just love being outside and being able to care and love for the animals. So I'm excited to grow that. So I'm gonna go feed all the animals, and then I'm gonna go pitch after. So that's what my life is looking like right now.
That is incredible and fully describes who you are. I need to know, what are the plans? Like, how big do you envision this farm getting to be?
I envision it pretty big, honestly. So right now we've got 2 cows, so Oreo and Puddin', 2 goats, Butter and Scotch, and then 2 farm dogs. So they're gonna be living outside. Trust me, they don't want to be inside. I've already tried. But Maisie and Moose and 22 chickens. So we're growing it, and I can see it being. Unfortunately, for everybody that has to help me take care of it and put fence up, I see it being pretty big. Yeah.
These names are iconic. Did you name them all? That's what I have to know.
I did. Yeah. I actually had Oreo and Puddin' picked out for a long time. So whenever they were here, I was like, all right, that's already their name. I know that's what it's going to be. But everybody else just kind of went with the flow.
When does your day start? Because I can imagine, running a farm and trying to build it is a full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, some days pretty early, but then some days pretty late. I guess I've been lucky with great animals so far and a good camera security system. So, I mean, as soon as they wake me up, pretty much.
And do you have, I'm sure, the people in place as you get ready to go off and play in AUX that are going to take care of the farm?
Oh, absolutely. My poor brother. So he may watch this, I'm not sure, but he is so great because I text him, I'm like, "Hey, can you stop and get me all of these different kind of feeds?" He's just like, "Yep, on it." So he's the best little brother.
I love it. You mentioned that you are a month away from starting in your professional debut. What is your goal in year one?
My goal is just to be the best that I can be. I mean, it's been not too long because I was fortunate to play with USA in this past season. So just being able to compete against the best. So I just want to bring back that competitive fire that I feel like has been building up over the past year, like not really able to pitch that much.
Montana, it has been such a pleasure to have you. I know Softball America and myself are thrilled to watch you compete in your professional debut next month. And then after a season, we're coming to the farm because I need to cover this and see it for my own eyes, everything you are doing.
Absolutely. Come whenever you want. You guys have a place to stay here, and I'm excited too. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck. Tons of great softball this week, next week, and then when Montana and the rest of AUX makes their premiere in Wichita, Kansas. Thank you so much, everyone in Montana.